The memes! The memes! They got me! Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a new vinyl update, where I talk about all the records that have recently made it into this collection over here. First, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor of this video, Vinyl Me Please, the monthly record club. They do exclusive pressings. They pass you a record every month. You sort of pay a fee for a subscription. And, they pass you some sweet exclusively pressed vinyl with some extra art thrown in there, maybe a lyric sheet as well, a postcard too if they have it. There's some drink recommendation stuff that comes along with it too, a little bio for the record as well, so you're not going into it totally blind. And I'm signed up for the subscription service myself, so we have these two releases over here that have come from them recently. A fantastic little cool jazz and soul jazz record from the Ben Webster Quintet. This is a record I'm not terribly familiar with, but giving it a listen, it actually wasn't too bad. If you're at all a fan of cool jazz, it's not incredibly inventive if you just take it in the grander scheme of things, but this was actually a pretty fantastic recording, considering that this was just the late 50s when this record came out, just before a lot of the greatest albums in cool jazz would be released. And there were some fantastic little beautiful songs on here, like Time in My Hands, Lover Come Back to Me. The way Ben Webster plays the sax on this record, just double checking that, yeah, the tenor sax. He kind of has like these stuttering notes throughout the record that are kind of attention grabbing. Background instrumentation is really sweet, really smooth. And as far as the record pressing itself, there's a fantastic little etching on here. It's not necessarily a label, but an etching, which is quite nice. The logo, the name of the record, Ben Webster Quintet. Name of the logo, the verb logo, name of the record. So yeah, nice little etching on the label there, as opposed to just a label. Definitely a nice little package right there, straightforward, to the point. And this new Father John Misty double LP gatefold came in the mail from them as well, and it's actually a spot of clear vinyl, which is pretty sweet. Got a few clear records. And yeah, I mean, if you guys have seen my review for this record, it is one of my favorite singer-songwriter records of the year. I don't know how many more I'll have as far as singer-songwriter records. I never can tell. I never can predict, but it's actually a very beautiful record, in my opinion. More enjoyable than the last Father John Misty album, I think, which I thought was a little kind of run-of-the-mill for the genre. And not to say that Father John Misty is reinventing the wheel or anything like that, but I found his lyrics to be a little more standout on this album. There's a sweet little lyric sheet that comes with this album as well, with some interesting collage-style art. Lyric sheet is gigantic, as you can see. You can read all the lyrics right now if you pause this. Thank you. And I actually do... One other thing I like about this record is I just sort of get a chance to... not only does the record itself sound very nice, but I just get a chance to sort of see the art of the album, just in large, because it's actually a pretty detailed little mural going on here. There's a really beautiful piece of art going on in the gatefold as well. So yeah, really digging this LP, really digging this package. And, again, thanks to Vinyl Me Please for, hooking me up with that. You can check them out down in the description. I will put a link at the top of the description box for that service. All right, moving on, we have some records that were passed to me promo to this radio station I used to work at. I visit over there, whenever I do have some mail that I have to pick up. And they passed me some interesting records. These two singles, these guys are Old English Spelling Bee recordings. These two singles from Outer Limits Recordings. I'm just assuming that's the name of the group because I don't see that that's the record label or anything on here. And you do kind of have 2 7-inches, and it's not like there's any other band name on here other than Outer Limits Recordings. So Outer Limits Recordings. These 2 7-inches, the songs I Need My TV, Burning Through the Night, Julie, and Plastic Child. Favorite songs, I Need My TV, Plastic Child off of this fantastic song. And these were 2 little lo-fi psychedelic DIY recorded pop tracks, pop 7-inches, sort of in that vein of Stevie Moore, Ariel Pink. If you can get your hands on these, there are some sweet moments on this. It's got a lot of character, and Plastic Child and I Need My TV are super silly, super catchy. I wouldn't say these guys are, the best DIY recording, best lo-fi pop outfit you'll ever hear, but, these 2 7-inches were definitely sweet, and I see no reason to ditch them. And then there was this, which was totally perplexing. These guys look like every terrible band I ever played with or played in high school. The gym shorts, the cargo shorts, the garage, the wooded area, the bass guitar, you can't really tell, but if you look at the bass guitar, if you find the high-res cover art of this, again, the record is Chaos, Destroy, Lightning Strikes Twice. I didn't say that yet, so for the first time, Chaos, Destroy, Lightning Strikes Twice. If you get a good look at this bass guitar, it looks like $100 starter bass from like Guitar Center or something, and when you put this record on, it sounds like that. It has this like really terrible, crappy, hollow, grinding tone that is just god-awful. Actually, it really does sound like they're playing with all the instruments featured on this record, all of which look fairly cheap. And the recording itself, sounds super cheap and noisy and lo-fi too. But the thing about bands like this is that from what my experience was playing in them and watching bands like this play, they were usually super generic, super boring, and didn't, we're just like ripping off crap that was on the radio. But actually, this band is actually like a noisy, experimental kind of, they're definitely inspired by Grindcore 2 band. They definitely don't play by anyone's rules. The riffs are super distorted, super abrasive. The distortion, the noise on the recording here is very ugly, very like, not even palatable to a degree. And the vocals are just like, blah, 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 just like, totally ridiculous and absurd. These guys are really fucking just going batshit insane. And this is a little, piece of art that comes with the record. It's just totally senseless and totally ridiculous. It's definitely freakish in a sense. There's definitely something kind of weird about it, but do like I enjoy it? Not necessarily, no. But when I had it on, I was kind of like, that's fun. Really, a little bit. It's a little bit of fun. So, there you go. And this is the last thing they threw my way, which I'm incredibly appreciative of. This is absolutely amazing. Ariel Pink's picks from Stevie Moore's back catalog, Volume 1, double LP, pink vinyl. A lot of the songs on this compilation are appearing on vinyl for the first time. So, and of course, it is pink. It is a beautiful, sort of a splashy pink print. Really great labeling over here. And been playing the first half of this thing. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. Stevie Moore, Ariel Pink did pick these tracks. We sort of curated these tracks, but the Ariel Pink is not on these songs, at least from what I understand. And what I know of a few of the tracks on here, like Summer Comes Again. These are, actually, no, he couldn't have played on any of these songs. All these songs are really old. Majority of the songs here are from the 70s, picked from Stevie Moore's cassette collection. If you don't know Stevie Moore, he is this amazing multi-instrumentalist, DIY, home-recorded artist. And he's been doing this for decades and decades and decades, way before lo-fi was sort of, very chic, and, recording things yourself was kind of in, and easier to do for artists, frankly. He was doing DIY stuff when you had to do things in single takes, or if there were kind of tricks and workarounds for that, I don't know them, but if anyone did, he certainly knew them. He had to do things in single takes, and you were working with tape, and he had to mixing was I'm sure a pain in the ass too. So, our Stevie Moore, he has punk tracks, he's got dance tracks, he's got avant-garde soundscapes, he's got spoken word, he's got pop music, he's got psychedelic pop, he's got baroque pop, he's got all kinds of different genres of music in his catalog, and he never stayed with one genre for too long, always jumping around and trying different things. And because his catalog is so diverse, compilations really are one of the best ways to enjoy his stuff, and it's compilations like this that pull together some of his best pop tracks, some of his more accessible material, and this is actually pretty wonderful from what I've heard of the first track. His lyrics are super funny, very crass, very satirical a lot of the time, but he's capable of wonderful statements of love and life as well. So, if you're looking to try to get into our Stevie Moore and you don't know which album to start with because he has so many, and tons of albums that haven't even been released to the public, though he does have a Bandcamp where he just has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of releases that you can look up. This compilation over here is really not a bad place to start, and it's actually fantastic to finally get some kind of our Stevie Moore vinyl into the collection, because I do think he is a musical master and has been deserving a place in the vinyl collection over here. He actually sampled me in a song once. It was like a clip of me talking during my Ariel Pink review for Before Today, which was pretty ridiculous. Met him once before as well, and completely nice, down to earth, very cool guy. And when I saw him perform, he was really just fucking with the crowd, playing some good songs, but totally fucking with the crowd too. Playing some just weird, completely incoherent, I'll just say crap, just for no other word, because it seemed like he didn't seem to be taking it very seriously. And when everybody was like, whoa, he seemed to be like, you're not really liking this, stop pretending, you seem to kind of be breaking people's balls with the performance he was doing. And that's just the kind of person he is. And I actually have another compilation of tracks from our Stevie Moore over here as well, the Personal Appeal compilation, which came out a few years ago. And I didn't know, just from looking at digital pictures of this record cover, but and I don't know if you could tell right here through the camera, but the way that this is sort of printed and presented is that it looks like a real honest-to-God pencil drawing. Like, looking at it really closely and really deeply, it doesn't even look like it had been printed. It just looks like somebody hand drew this single copy over here and then just threw it in plastic and then was handed another piece of paper, or another cover over here and just started drawing again. It looks like a really, I'm afraid to move this around or really do much of anything with it, because I'm just like afraid it'll erase or something. Like if I took an eraser to this, like I could just get rid of this whole face. It's actually really awesome to have something like this on a record cover. And again, this is just like another compilation of our Stevie Moore's more accessible stuff. I'm not particularly sure, doing a research on this compilation, not particularly sure the date range from when this material has come from, but with our Stevie Moore, you never really know. If anybody can actually find that out and throw it in the comments, that would be fantastic and amazing. Maybe I'll do an annotation or something like that if I find out eventually. But there are actually some great tunes on here. One track that really stuck out to me, Make Up Shake Up, where he was singing against some pre-recorded classical strings, but he set some hilarious lyrics to them about makeup, you know, and just mascara and foundation getting on people's pants, and, you know, so on and so forth. You know, it was just a really funny observation on makeup. And Structure of Love sounded wonderful. The song Old, where he kind of pitched his voice down to sound dreary and just like, you know, his songs have a lot of personality, and he goes into songs with you know, usually big ideas or concepts as to what exactly he wants to say or communicate, and that usually ends up impacting the way the music sounds in, you know, some kind of profound and sometimes hilarious or beautiful way. Our Stevie Moore is just, you know, super creative, super interesting. You know, I just wish I had a lifetime to listen through his entire discography, you know, but I am happy and thankful for, you know, collections of songs like this that pull out, you know, some of his best and most entertaining stuff. All right, moving on. We have a classic heavy metal record over here. Reviewed this band recently for Classics Week. This is one of my favorite records of theirs, though never have had it on vinyl. So, you know, I just wanted to pick it up because I saw it. And, you know, these recordings were recorded analog. Even though it is a reissue, it's nice to get the vinyl to get that old school punch. We have Iron Maiden's Power Slave. People were asking me, why did I review Number of the Beast and not Power Slave? You know, there's so many great catchy tracks on here, and I agree. This record for Iron Maiden really is, and even though I do love Killers, I love Number of the Beast, this record really is where Iron Maiden perfected their studio craft and came together with some wonderfully mixed and recorded and performed songs like 2 Minutes to Midnight and Aces High, some of the most exciting tracks yet. Though, you know, I do like that raw feel of some of the earlier recordings. This album over here is fantastic, and they really had their shit together on this album, and that's why it still stands today as one of the best heavy metal records of all time. So, you know, if you're looking for an in with Iron Maiden, you know, the Power Slave is not a bad place to start. And it is a really heavy, thick 180-gram record, and you know, we sort of have this white sleeve, and then we have the lyric sleeve over here, you know, which you can sort of use separately from the white sleeve if you don't want to screw up your lyric sleeve or anything like that. This one's actually already peeling. Wonderful. But, you know, we do have the lyrics here. Old school picture of the band. Bruce Dickinson over there, looking like a total badass. So there you go. Iron Maiden, Power Slave. All right, moving on. If I could pop this in the record sleeve, which I can't, so that's just probably never going to happen. We're never going to move on from this record. This will be the last vinyl update ever, and it'll probably be the last review ever, because I will be here for the rest of my life trying to stick this album in the sleeve. It's just never going to happen. Sorry, y'all. Reviews are canceled. Oh, there we go. Got it. Finally. The back looks nice too. You know, these old school, you know, sort of hand-drawn pieces of album art, they definitely have a specific kind of character to them. You know, it's not photoshopped, it's, you know. Not that that's bad. Just saying. A fan of the show passed this record to me, a Mr. Noah. Thank you, sir. This was amazingly generous of you. Thank you very much. Gave a listen to this 12-inch single. It's fantastic, but I'm not surprised about that because, you know, I was familiar with the record that this single came off of, and, you know, it's just nice to have it on vinyl. I don't have this record on vinyl, though I do have another album from this band in my collection. Spiritualized, the single Stop Your Crying, which is a wonderful little piece of string-kissed pop music. Just really sad music, just like profoundly sad little tune. About how, you know, really it's the people you love are the ones who often end up hurting you the most. Played at 45. We have 2 non-album tracks on the B-side, and the album version of Stop Your Crying on the A-side sounds amazing. So again, Noah, thank you for passing this to me. It was wonderful. I was moved by not only the song, but your generosity as well. And I will take this opportunity to, you know, again say thank you and say, if you have not listened to Spiritualized, please do. You know, look the band up. Even though they do have some records that people do enjoy more than others, I think singles like this, and as well as their latest album as well, the album Ladies and Gentlemen 2, all fantastic records. You know, really can't go wrong. starting off with those albums, or really much of any album in the Spiritualized discography. I don't think they've ever come out with like a horrible record. If you're into bands like Mercury Rev and you love psychedelic rock and you love rock music that features really big, huge instrumentation, but it's executed well and tastefully, Spiritualized, most definitely could be the band for you. Another band that could be the band for you, the debut EP of noise rock outfit, experimental rock outfit, the Jesus Lizard. This is before they were, in their final form with some of their biggest records, like Goat, for example. Though, we do have guys like lead singer David Yao on this album, who is going completely insane on tracks like Bloody Mary, for example. He's definitely doing his thing on tracks like that. The Jesus Lizard, if you love heavy riffs, if you love insane vocals, if you love visceral grooves, if you love noise, if you love volume, you really can't go wrong with the Jesus Lizard. Really what kind of holds this EP back from being the band's later and greater stuff is really the lack of real drums, though I don't think it holds them back that much. There's definitely like a fluidity to the performances on this album. They're just not really at that peak of insanity and intensity that they would be on Goat, which, might be something they kind of, I guess, evolved into through their really crazy live shows. But this EP has 5 tracks. They're really heavy, really aggressive, in your face. It's a nice thick record, it's got a lot of punch to it. Played at 45. Again, it's just a handful of tracks, not their best of their best stuff, but it's definitely interesting to sort of see the band at this early evolution period. We have a picture over here of the drum machine that they were using, and a bit of backstory as well, some quotes from people like Henry Rollins in this re-releases, liner notes, and some pictures of the band too. It's just an interesting little piece of history for people who are into this specific kind of music, and just might be big Jesus Lizard fans. But if you're this is your first time getting into them, their full-length LPs that they would come out with not too long after this EP, would definitely be the great way to go. And this thing, late 80s, this came out. And Jesus Lizard, such a sign of things to come in a lot of ways. This record's totally just, insane, intense, messed up, and again, put the kids to bed. If they can't handle this album art over here, apologies. I should have given fair warning. But yeah, there you go. Again, Jesus Lizard. And finally, another heavy record. Another bit of metal here. This is another reissue as well. We have Cro-Mags with Alpha Omega. Cro-Mags, celebrated, fantastic, crossover thrash band from New York, bringing together thrash metal with hardcore punk. Other fantastic bands in that genre include Suicidal Tendencies, if you're looking for bands that are more on the punk side of that spectrum, because there were groups that kind of slid in between the two. If you're looking for bands that are more on the punk side, Suicidal Tendencies. And if you're looking for bands that are more on the metal side, at least on this record anyway, this Cro-Mags album over here will do. Their earlier stuff was definitely more punk influenced, but this album over here kind of sounds like they got a hold of like Danzig's debut album and just turned around and didn't look back. There's some huge thrash riffs on here. Some really sad songs as well, that are really campy, melodic, just, over the top, like The Other Side of Madness, Revenge. The picture of the band over here is actually pretty sweet. Looking real tough there, looking real 90s. And we have John on vocals over here, who's an absolute madman. Hey, he is just so over the top on this record. He is absolutely batshit insane on this album, and kind of in like sort of way sometimes. But the grooves are there. This record definitely does have a sound. It does mark a certain time in rock music that I think is interesting to a degree. Not one of my favorite moments in rock music, but definitely representative of an era. And and if you are a vegetarian or vegan, the lead singer of this band, you know, Johnny actually wrote a book called Meat is for Pussies that I actually think is pretty hilarious. Look up John Joseph, Meat is for Pussies. And yeah, that's about it for this. You know, again, very heavy, and even though this record is very metal influenced, sometimes, you know, that punk ferocity does come through in the speed, in the intensity. So it's not like they've gone totally, you know, heavy thrash metal, but you know, it's certainly, you know, something that shows up on this album. And I think that is it for this month's vinyl update. Cool. Transition. Have you given any of these records a listen? Do you even own any of them? If you don't, I recommend that, you know, you pick some of them up if they are available at your local stores, or, you know, if you're in the market for some new vinyl. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging out with me for this vinyl update and just kind of chilling, checking out some records. And you're the best. Love you, Anthony Fantano. Forever.